Okay, so I might have brought a different perspective. You might not have heard of this before, but here's the thing. I think that we have a different uh, concept. We've been taught something different when it comes to purpose. What do I mean by that? Well, purpose is usually identified as something that you're called to, something that you're doing, the reason why you are here on this earth. But I'm going to propose a little something different. So, when you look at the definition of purpose, it means that um, you are essentially fulfilling something that the creator has made you for, right? So the only way to go into purpose is to actually be intimate with the creator, is to find out from the creator why you were created, right? And so I like to read the original intent for who we are and why we are created. And so that comes down into Genesis 1 and 26. Now, I really have to say that we are going to talk about prayer, but this really changed me in so many different ways because as a you know, I've been a woman, right, for all my life. But so as a woman, I have been a wife, I have been a mother, I have been a daughter, I have been um, a girlfriend or woman friend, whatever you want to call it. I have had many different things, right? Many different titles and many different functions, I guess you can say. And what I've realized over that is when you don't really understand purpose, you'll start getting distracted. So, for instance, I thought at one point that purpose was, to be a mom, but it was just for that season, or to be, uh, you know, um, an entrepreneur or in corporate or whichever. Have you ever been in this place where you've been in corporate and you went to go shift, or you've been a stay at home mom or parent, however that looks, and um, you had to shift? And then all of a sudden, you're confused because while the new journey is exciting, you're like, but what's my actual purpose? And then we go around in circles trying to find this thing, this reason why we are created. And so let's go to Genesis 1 and 26, right? It says, let us make man in our image according to our likeness, right? That they will rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and the livestock, all of all of the earth, and the creatures that crawl on the earth, right? So to be made in likeness and image means that we do have to be intimate with God. How else are you going to understand when you're made in a likeness and an image of something and you really don't know how that something functions, right? So, number one, our purpose on this earth is to be intimate with God, is to have a relationship. And then, two, out of that relationship, they're going to do what? We're going to do what, right? We're going to rule over the earth. We're going to rule over the earth, right? So it says, so God created man in his own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them, male and female. So we don't have time to really dig into the whole male and female, but he's talking about male and female, why we were created for intimacy. That's first and foremost. Now, after that, you can look at verse 28, and it says, God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. And then again, it talks about ruling over. So to be fruitful, multiply, subdue it, and rule. But all of that comes out of the one thing, which is the intimacy with God. So I had to explain that first, because now we can dive in a little bit more and we can actually talk about we have purpose and why we were created. Now, The rest is your call and your assignment. Again, we can talk about that some other time, but um, when you're looking at prayer, okay, when you're looking at prayer, I've gotten this question, when you're walking in purpose, does it mean that you are also a prayer warrior? I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say no. Here's why. The way that we look at prayer, a prayer warrior, is very different than what it requires to pray when you are in purpose. Remember, we talked about purpose as intimacy with God, right? And so when you are looking at the prayer warrior side, we're looking at a lot of times what? We know it as praying for others, right? Praying through a situation, praying for a circumstance, even praying for yourself. But I'm going to put before you that real, true, genuine prayer when you're looking at purpose is not about being a prayer warrior, but it's about prayer in an intimate level with God. So, what does prayer look like? Because a lot of times we could look at prayer as there's different forms of prayer, right? There's the form of intercession, right? And gratitude. There's so many different kinds. And so, in this time with God, what I want you to focus on to be in purpose, meaning to be intimate with the Father, that is your assignment or your purpose within that is going to be to worship. That means everything that focuses on Him. So, worship, you have gratitude, right? And you have listening. That's one thing that many of us need to make sure that we have. We listen, we take time. Whenever you're in relationship, you take time. It doesn't mean that it's this cut out time all the time. That is just like, oh my gosh, I only pray between 4 and 6. And then every day after all the time after that, that's it. No, not only is it, or think of it as with your spouse, you have a date night, right? And then, but throughout the week, it doesn't mean that you don't talk to them, you're not intimate with them, you're not on a regular basis, just, intimate in conversation or going out with them, just to quickly get dinner or to take a walk or to discuss your day or to be intimate physically, sexually, all those things, right? You don't just wait till one date time, but you might have an extended period of time where you're just focused very intentionally on one another and building that relationship up, right? So that's one aspect. So definitely you want the time with God, but then the consistency. If you are a mom, a wife, just busy entrepreneur, ministry leader, listen, life happens. There is the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and my gosh, everything else that you can probably imagine, right? Somebody needs something and needs your attention while you're running business and you're feeling like you're wanting to answer the call and you're wanting to walk in the assignment and you're just like, I'm not quite sure. So while you're doing this, I want you to constantly be talking to God, constantly have gratitude, constantly say, I acknowledge your presence. I acknowledge who you are and what you mean to me in my life. Father, do you have anything to say to me? Do you have any wisdom that you want to impart in me? It's just, hey, I recognize that you're there. I love you. I just want to tell you that I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that I know for me, I had to appreciate when I'm doing laundry, when I appreciate when I'm cooking or cleaning, because back years ago, my mindset was where the church had brought me to, leaders had brought me to, was I was going to miss the move of God. I was going to miss it all. And I thought to myself, God, how unfair is that? You want me to take care of my children and my husband at the time. You want me to take care of everything, right? But yet I'm supposed to be over here also fulfilling what you said to fulfill, like this, what the church called purpose. And it was really difficult until I understood Proverbs 31. She didn't do everything all at once. No, she didn't. And when I really understood that she was also an entrepreneur, she was a leader, but she also was a mother and a wife, and she was able to do so many different things in her life, but it was because she had intent focus in that season, in that time when she was doing her thing. So again, if you want to hear more, definitely subscribe, share this with somebody that you know will be blessed by it. We want to encourage, right? We want to encourage and uplift. There's so many things going on. I think if we want any negative or we want any backlashing or whatever, we could probably either look at media or even look at our own video comments because yeah, that happens, right? All the judges and all the critics and everything will want to be able to follow you and just judge everything that you do, right? Instead of looking at their own self. So here's the thing. When you're in purpose, does it require you to be a prayer warrior? I'm going to say no, because we look at prayer warrior as something different. Will it require you to be intimate with the Lord? Will it require you to have a firm, fixed, immovable focus? Will it require you to just love on Him and be in a different kind of prayer? Absolutely. So I hope again that this has helped you. Definitely, definitely click, like, share, and comment. Look, I love the comments. I like to pour out and pour in, and so does my team. All right. Well, until next time.